Yo, what's going on, everyone? It's your boy Ben and JB from JBM Sports Media coming at you guys with Wild Card Weekend, our Sunday reaction. Yes, 3 games happened today. I would say 2 good games, and then one kind of a snooze fest that we'll get into right now. I guess we'll start off from top to bottom. And yes, that means we're going to start off right now talking about the Bills moving on to the divisional round, going to Denver to face the Broncos now after they beat the Jacksonville Jaguars. Final score 27-24. JB, give me your thoughts on this game. And this was a very good game right here.
Yeah, this was an excellent game from start to finish. I mean, it was punch for punch, literally. I mean, I felt like both teams couldn't get a stop, and it just came literally down to, you know, basically the final drive of the game. But honestly, I tip my hat off to Josh Allen. He was phenomenal today. He really did put his big boy pants on and showed up today. He
He
really
did.
did. Yeah, and it is pretty hostile to play over there. Jacksonville, it gets loud, it gets a little rowdy. So it's definitely some tempest flaring over there. So it was good to see how he performed under some pressure. Um, but the 2 big turnovers by Trevor Lawrence is another key
Yeah.
to this loss for them. They ran the football pretty well. So when you turn the ball over twice, and there were times where I felt like they weren't running the ball enough against this Bills team that really has trouble stopping the run.
Right.
Um, I think they only had about 24 carries, uh, as a team. I feel like that should have been more. I really do. I feel like if they would have ran the football a little bit more, they could have controlled the game a little bit better. So, tips the hat off to the Bills. That's it. You got to tip your hat to them. And like I said, Allen came to play. Allen came to play, and they were able to force some turnovers, and that's why the Jags are eliminated, and the Bills are moving on.
When I look at the 2 interceptions by Trevor Lawrence, the first one I would say is a little bit more to blame on him. The second one, I felt
Yeah,
like,
was the tip you can't really control.
you can't control that one. Jacoby Myers had it, tipped it up, interception. The Jags had a little bit of time. They had 1:05, and Cam Little's the kicker. I know, he missed the one before the half, but at the end, I do believe if it would have been a field goal situation, his career long, and I think regular season record wise is 68 yards, and that was by him. So they would have been in position to score if Lawrence would have got it close. Back and forth affair. This was a great one. I actually was big on letting the Bills score in the last 2 minutes, letting that happen, just get it over with, and then keep that final timeout. In my opinion, Buffalo, I think they had a chance to score. What was it? No. I take that back. Buffalo, before they did the tush push, I remember that Jacksonville stopped Allen short, and
Yes,
that's when I thought to myself, you guys should have just let him score there. They should have just kept pushing the pile and let him score right there. But
yes,
that
hundred
didn't
percent.
happen. It was an extra 10 seconds that were at. No, actually, no. They used their final timeout. It wasn't an extra 10 seconds. So I feel like Jacksonville just could have been a little bit wiser with just letting them score and then putting the Jags in position to score another field goal. Or even, who knows, maybe Trevor Lawrence has a magical drive, scores a touchdown. But yeah, the Jags, very resilient season. I mean, props to them. Liam Cohen, great year. I seen his presser. I mean, look, there was an incredible moment with one of the persons that was asking a question to Liam Cohen. They said, "Keep your head up, young man.
Yeah,
Incredible season. The future's bright." And truly it is.
yeah.
Truly it is
I
for a
saw
guy
that.
like
I
Liam
saw
Cohen.
that. Yeah, I saw that too. And listen, you really put the nail on the head there. I mean, fantastic season by the Jags, and Cohen is definitely a key part of their success. And I think Trevor Lawrence really made a big step in his career with Cohen really calling the plays there.
Absolutely.
So
And then the Bills, I mean, props to them all throughout this game. I was, a little bit questionable. Like some of McDermott's play callings in the first half, I wasn't that fond of, if I could be honest. In the second half, I felt like he did way better. James Cooks was able to find a little bit of gaps. That Jags run defense is really good. But when James Cook needed to get those extra 4 or 5 yards, they got it. And Josh Allen with some incredible throws at the end. I mean, this was, in my opinion, this is what solidifies this playoff run for Josh Allen, this game in Jacksonville. Because now, I mean, yes, they go to Denver, the 1 seed, but who knows? That bye could either give you rust or give you motivation. It depends how you look at it. Um, they're going to Mile High. They're going to be playing on Saturday at 3 o'clock my time. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about that game. I'm gonna really have to throughout this week, just breaking down before we put our predictions video up. Incredible win. I think this is the year. This has to be the year Josh goes on this run, and what an incredible start to do so. I will say that. And for McDermott as well, keeping your job alive. Great job on his part.
Yeah, absolutely. But listen, they're going to be going up against one of the best defenses in the league in Denver, and it's always a tough place to play as well. So I'm going to see how they're going to be tested, and like you said, maybe the bye week will show how a little bit some rust on Denver's part, and now Buffalo has a little bit of momentum going into next week, obviously from playing a hard-fought game like this, and I think it's going to be the same outcome, a 3-point game, maybe a 4-point game. It's going to be close. I don't think it's going to be a blowout on either end, so it's going to be an interesting matchup to see, and I'm interested to see how the Broncos' offense is going to operate, what their plan of attack is going to be. So that's going to be another fantastic matchup next week.
Yeah, I'm very excited for that one on a Saturday, man. That's going to be an incredible game right there. Defense versus Josh Allen. Like, Josh Allen's going on this run. Yes, this is, you could say his easiest path because no Mahomes, no Burrow, no Lamar, right? But at the same time, you got to give him credit. This is probably one of the weakest teams in the Bills era with him at the helm. So with that being said, this is a great first wave in the pattern of going for it. And look, I'm very excited to see what they got dialed up on offense next week against that Broncos defense, because that Broncos defense isn't a joke. I think going into Mile High, obviously last year they played against each other in the wild card in Buffalo, but this time Josh Allen, and it's a new group of guys, a little bit of a weaker team, like I said, going into Denver, that altitude and everything that comes with it. I think it's going to be super fun, a super fun game. I could even see it like being at a point where that game happens, where fourth quarter comes, kind of like this one. Are the Jags really going to beat the Bills? Is this really going to be a one and done for Allen? I could see the Broncos being in control like that. Allen has a superhero moment. But you know what? If Bo Nix is just able to do what Trevor Lawrence didn't do, and that is just take care of the ball, this is going to be a very, very tricky situation for the Bills. Because like I said, they could have easily lost this game today.
Yeah, absolutely. And Denver has weapons. It's not like they don't have the weapons. I mean, and we've seen Bo Nix plenty of times take matters into his own hands when he could use his legs, and they have a formidable back in R.J. Harvey, and let's see what happens with how they utilize guys like Courtland Sutton and in the passing game. So I'm kind of eager to see how they're going to go about it and see what Sean Payton has dialed up. But I'm going to say that this Buffalo defense is definitely going to have to really step up and force a couple of turnovers like they did today in order to be successful. You want to give the ball to Allen as much as you can so he can eat the clock and take up time management, because I think that's going to be key too. Time management in this game is going to be key. Extending plays on third down, that's going to be a key to this game too. So it's going to be a really fun game. I think it might be one of the best games going into next week, to be honest with you.
I agree. Just final thoughts on this game. Like I said, Jags fans, tough loss in general because of just the promising way you guys ended the season, but the future's bright for you guys under Liam Cohen, him being the head coach there, and Trevor Lawrence. Like I said, he's made big steps. Like JV said, he's made big steps this year, and this is his freshman year with Liam Cohen at the helm. Sophomore year with Liam Cohen at the helm next year, only going to see improvements in my opinion. So hold your head up, Jags fans. And Bills Mafia, like I said, this is probably a very, very delightful scene because, like I said, this is the motivation you guys probably needed. A lot of people, including me and JV, had the Jags winning this game. This is the momentum the Bills for sure needed to get that playoff run started. But without further ado, let's move on to America's Game of the Week, and that was the San Francisco 49ers going into Lincoln Financial Field, or whatever it's called. Well, today it was basically the link, and I was so shocked when I will talk about the game, but the Niners won 23-19. This is the game I'm so shocked about, if I could be quite honest, because I had the Eagles winning, but in my head, when I was like, how could they lose this game if they do lose this game before I predicted it? I didn't think they would lose it like this, in the manner like this. It was just so... I mean, I'll let you talk about it first. I'll give my thoughts on it a little bit later because I'm still a little bit surprised in the way that the Eagles went about it offensively more so.
I'm honestly not. I think the Eagles are such an the whole year has been such an underwhelming offensive output year for the Philadelphia Eagles, and we've seen games where they put up 30 plus points and 300 plus yards, and they look phenomenal, and then all of a sudden they go on a 4 or 5 game streak where they look completely lost, and not for nothing, Jalen Hurts has been putting up underwhelming stats for a while. He's been very inconsistent. Again today, very inconsistent. I mean, and it's crazy that this is even the final score because the Niners had 4 turnovers. I mean, they had 2 fumbles and 2 interceptions. Brock Purdy had 3 of the 4 turnovers. So when your quarterback is contributing 75% to the turnover category, usually you would think they would lose. They didn't. So it just goes to show you that you make a couple more plays than the other guy, and that's really all it is. And not for nothing, 4 turnovers in the playoffs, and you win. I'd probably tell you that you're lying and you have no idea what you're talking about. But that's really the case today. And again, it's another underwhelming performance by the Eagles offense, and you can see the frustration on AJ Brown's face. He got in Nick Sirianni's face, and there was a little bit of a disagreement there. So I'm not really too sure what to think about this Eagles team. I'm really not too sure. They're consistent, and I said it from last week that I thought the Niners were going to win, and I happen to be right.
Yeah, I say I'm shocked because in Jalen Hurts' career at the Link, he is 5-0 in the playoffs. That has now changed to 5-1, obviously. And yes, I actually, believe it or not, there's a lot of people that give Jalen Hurts a lot of shit. I even could say I've been one of Jalen Hurts' biggest defenders. I actually don't mind the way that Jalen Hurts operates because a lot of quarterbacks operate like that nowadays in the NFL. Yes, is he getting paid? Absolutely. But look at what Purdy's getting paid as well. Look at what Jay Love's getting paid as well. Quarterbacks like that are going to get paid now, and you just have to understand that this is the new era in the NFL. So a lot of people give Hurts a lot of shit because of his playing style. What a lot of people, I think, fail to talk about, non-Eagles fans, because Eagles fans, I'll help you guys out with this one. Kevin Patullo is going to be fired by Monday because some of his play calling in this game was absolutely putrid.
Yeah, it was bad.
I think when I look at this game specifically, going run on first down, run on second down. Oh, let's see if we can maybe get a screen on third. And if that doesn't happen, a little short pass or QB draw or something like that. I mean, Kevin Patullo's play calling right here in this game and overall this season is a reason why he's not going to have a job by Monday. And I think it's very unfortunate because I do believe that, and we'll talk about the AJ Brown and Nick Sirianni thing, but there was a point in this game where I'm all like, why are you guys running it so much? If you see how Hurts was throwing the ball specifically towards the later half of the first quarter, early second quarter, he's making these throws to A.J. Brown. He's making these throws to Dallas Goedert. He was actually connecting his targets. Why? And I'm not saying Saquon didn't have a decent day on the field, pounding the rock. He did. But to me, why stop that momentum in the passing game and be just run heavy? It happened again, where in the second half, they just look blatantly gone on offense. It looks like they had no type of game plan. And this is technically, I wouldn't say back-to-back weeks. Well, back-to-back weeks with the starters because the starters didn't play in Week 18. But in that Bills game, same thing happened. And look, I understand that Hurts is going to get a lot of shit. I mean, trust. There was moments in this game he didn't look good with some of the throws. One throw I will not forgive him for, though, or will not say is his fault, though. I will not say is his fault, is one towards the very end to A.J. Brown, where A.J. Brown let that throw go right through his arms. It was right on him, went right through him. So A.J. Brown, I know A.J. Brown's even feeling shitty about that one because that was a wide open, good throw by Jalen Hurts to A.J. Brown. He dropped it. And that would have been, I don't know if he breaks the tackle right there. I don't know what happens, but that would have been a big play, at least a 15-yard gain. So there was moments in this game I just thought the Eagles offense, because it was so poorly, like with the play call, I don't know. I was just very shocked how in the first half, well, towards, like I said, the early second quarter, they seemed to find momentum right there, especially after the Goddard touchdown. I'm thinking, all right, this is where the Eagles turn up the Jets and, get it going. They disappear again, and I think this game is probably going to end up costing Kevin Patullo his job.
Yeah, and not for nothing, if you look at the stats, honestly, it was a pretty even attack. That they threw 35 times and they ran 36 times. So, honestly, they needed to put a little bit more trust into Jalen Hurts' hands in certain areas of this game, and they just didn't. And like you said, that's Patullo's fault, and he's going to probably get the axe because of it. And listen, the amount of talent on that offensive side of the ball for Philly needs to be utilized correctly. I mean, if you're an OC, you have to understand what you have out there. You have two really good wide receivers in Devonta Smith and A.J. Brown. You have Dallas Goedert, obviously Barkley. You have a backup like Tank Bigsby that can come in and eat some yards up in some late down situations. And you got to utilize Hurts the right way. And not for nothing, he doesn't run the football as much either. I mean, only 5 rush attempts tonight for 14 yards. And you would think that maybe they could utilize his feet a little bit more as well. Like if there's nothing in the pass game on a certain play or a certain
and when
couple
they
of
do try
drives.
to use his legs, they try to do it on a third down and third down
Right.
and 7 or third down and 8. What is the point of that at that
What's
point?
the
Like low key,
right? Like try to spread the field in on different downs and in different situations where maybe Buffalo's not expecting the run. They became very predictable. And they don't, like I said, they don't utilize the play action as much as they used to, which I thought used to help Hurts a lot. And they got away from that. And maybe that's Patullo's fault, or that's a team thing. I'm not sure if that was something that was agreed upon all the coaches, or if this is how Patullo wanted to run the offense. But I think he's going to get the axe now, like you said, because of it. And and props to the 49ers. They came out and they balled out, and they were able to overcome the 4 turnovers and win this football game. So it speaks to the volumes of that squad right there.
Absolutely, you're 100% right. Unfortunately, in this game, Kittle suffered a torn Achilles. Yeah, he's going to be out for the year, guys.
Yeah,
that was
that's
cooked.
unfortunate.
As soon as I saw that, I was like, he's cooked. And I said it to everybody else before even the close-up replay called, and I saw him on the ground. He's grabbing his calf area. I was like, yeah, as soon as we see this close replay, we're going to see that pop. And we did see it. It's unfortunate. Hopefully he has a speedy recovery. CMC is the MVP of this game for me, 49ers-wise. I mean, he did a little bit of everything. He started picking it up on the ground late, which was good because he hasn't had the best productivity running with the football recently. But, receiving-wise, bro, he caught a touchdown from Jawan Jennings. That was an excellent play calling by Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah.
Another incredible playoff game by Kyle Shanahan, calling amazing calls right there. I felt like even the times where the defense stepped up for the 49ers to get a lot and they got the ball back, he would put Purdy in situations where, take care of the football. Purdy would have these explosive plays. And, I mean, these crosses that they were throwing to Demarcus Robinson, they were amazing, bro. And I think Kyle Shanahan deserves a lot of credit for this win. Anything else you want to say before we move on from this one?
No, and not for nothing. It's good to see that they won a big game. Like, they haven't won a big playoff game in a while, and they usually have trouble against Philly, in the playoffs. And I know this was the first round. And they still have a lot of big football games to play. Are they playing Seattle next? Is that who they're slated to play?
Seattle. They're playing the Seahawks Saturday night.
To me, they match up very well against Seattle, so it's going to be an interesting matchup. And they can't turn the ball over four times like they did today again. You can't replicate that and expect to win another game like that. So I'll just say protect the football a little bit better, and I think the Niners are going to be tough to beat.
Yeah, I do agree. I think when we talk about the matchup, so many injuries on that front now that it puts me like, yeah, they beat the Eagles, but how much is that because of the Eagles' lack of offense? Like now they're going to go into Lumen, and it's going to be a different environment there, kind of how we saw Foxborough today and Jacksonville and Carolina in a way. So that's going to be interesting next week. I think it's going to be an incredible game, especially with Kyle Shanahan. This is the 3rd time they're going to be seeing each other this year. Yeah, incredible. There's 3 NFC West teams in the NFC side left remaining, which is phenomenal. And I think we're going to get an incredible game between the Niners and Seahawks. And it's part 3 after, last time the Niners only dropped 3 points against them. So obviously they know can't do that again because I know the Seahawks aren't going to be dropping points like they did in that game. Like I said, that game shouldn't have been 13-3. It should have been probably like 21-3, 24-3. But we'll see what happens. I think it's going to be a great game, like you said. And real quick, before we do move on from this game, I did want to mention out something real quick. And that is, you mentioned it earlier, the dispute that Nick Sirianni and A.J. Brown had. I think this relationship all season long has been a talking point all over the league between A.J. Brown and the Philadelphia Eagles, specifically Nick Sirianni. Look, maybe even Kevin Patullo as well. I think if A.J. Brown feels like this is, and you saw at the end, there was a report that came out that he hugged his teammates, didn't speak to media.
Yes.
Could this be
Yeah,
the end of A.J. Brown in Philly? I honestly do believe it could be. I think it's been a lot of drama filled. Obviously, he was on a Twitch stream during this year. He said he had some remarks, and then he got pulled into the Eagles front office, and afterwards, I think this relationship is cooked. To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if A.J. Brown is traded this offseason. I really wouldn't.
Yeah, I can see him definitely getting dealt in the offseason. And I think he's probably he sees that as well. I think this relationship is a fractured relationship. I don't think it's going to be able to get mended either. So at this point, after the Super Bowl, I'm sure they'll probably sit down with him and figure out certain areas where he could probably get traded to, and they'll probably work with him and try to get a deal done. But it's a fractured relationship at this point.
Yeah, and I felt like Nick Sirianni as well held this very improperly, this whole situation in general. You don't go up to your players screaming during the game like that. I mean, Nick Sirianni, no offense, you're a jobber.
No, you're right.
Bro. You can't do that.
You're 1,000% right. If you want to discipline your guy, go to the bench. Go to the bench and talk to him and sit with him on the bench and see what's going on. There's no reason to berate a guy like that, on the sideline in the middle of a playoff game. At least let him go to the sideline, cool off for a minute, then you could approach him. And even if you want to discipline him, you could do that in a different way and discipline him on the sideline and not show so much, animation on the sideline. I think it was just a little bit uncalled for, but I have no problem with a coach trying to discipline a player, but that definitely was a little bit too much.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, at the end, A.J. Brown in the second half, I think he only had 2 targets or one or 2 targets, which is, talking about getting away from the pass and what was working in the first half, just completely forgot about it. This relationship's fractured. I think the Eagles now in their title defense, they realize that changes needs to happen. And look, I think they're still going to roll with Hurts, but the A.J. Brown relationship in this, I think, is for sure fractured. And it's unfortunate because, he was a good piece for Hurts. But it looks like he's done with how they're utilizing him over there. And fair enough to him. I understand why he's mad.
Well, they're not utilizing that whole wide receiving core properly anyway. It's not just A.J. Brown. And, that's where I'll say A.J. Brown is being a little bit selfish. It's not like Devonta Smith is getting more looks or, and they are a little bit tight end friendly. They like to use the tight end a little bit more, and operate with using Dallas Goedert a little bit more. But, it's not like he's the wide receiver that's the only one that's not getting any touches or any looks. They do spread the ball out, a little bit evenly, and they just they figure out a different way to generate offense, and it's not always looking at their wideouts. So
yeah,
he has to understand that that's the offense. That's the offense he signed up to play for. So
yeah, you're right. And yeah, I guess we'll just see what happens as this offseason keeps on going. But the last game that we do have to talk about, the game that just finished not too long ago, is the matchup that happened between the Patriots and the Chargers. The Patriots winning 16-3. If you guys didn't catch this game, probably that's good. You guys probably saved a lot of time not catching this game. I'll be honest, because I was on my bed scrolling through my phone. I saw the big plays when it happened, but JV, I'll let you talk about this game briefly. I know we're not going to be on this game for that long. Shit.
No, yeah. Listen, we just talked about the Niners and how they turned the ball over 4 times, were able to win, and the Patriots turned the ball over 3 times. Drake May had, one interception and 2 fumbles. You can't really.
They recovered the second fumble though.
Oh, that's right. They did recover the second fumble, but you still have to protect the ball. The fact that he's fumbling to begin with, you don't want to be losing the football in big games like this. So that's definitely something that he has to work on. But let me tell you something about the LA Chargers, man. They just confirmed that they are I think they're the new jobbers of the AFC. They could officially be their laughing stock. Harbaugh, I don't know what he's got going on over there. You come to New England and you put up 3 points. Justin Herbert was so underwhelming. Lad McConkey was their lead receiver with 3 catches for 32 yards. That's just ass.
Yeah, that's horrible.
That's just terrible. 19 for 31, 159 yards, and you had 57 yards on the ground, and you couldn't even eclipse 200 yards in a playoff game. You guys have enough offensive talent to where you should be able to to score a touchdown. You didn't even score a touchdown. I mean,
They didn't. And
they
they
are
were
just
there a
so
few times. They were there a
yeah,
few times.
they are just so underwhelming. And their defense, like I said, their defense played a good game. 16 points. You know, you should have been able to be in this game. And 16-3 looks like it was a drubbing. It wasn't a drubbing. I mean, without a doubt, this game should have been way different. And offensively, they just sucked. That's really what it was. And Herbert has to understand that this can't go on any much longer. He has to progress in big games, and he's got to learn how to win a playoff game on the road as well. Like this was a winnable game today, and they really shit the bed, honestly.
Talking about a guy that's getting paid and where are the results at, you know what I mean? Like this.
Yeah.
I mean, look, 16-3. The key moments in this game. Obviously, the Drake made a Hunter Henry for the touchdown. That was a big throw by Drake May. I do feel like at times, he was a little bit. You can see the nerves from Drake May's first playoff game.
Yeah.
But you know what?
Absolutely.
His first playoff game, he outperformed all of Herbert's playoff games, and that's funny because he's had 3 and so far 3 losses. I mean, back-to-back horrible losses in the Harbaugh reign with the Chargers. Drake May and the Patriots. This is a win where they're going to be like, all right, wasn't the cleanest game. There's a lot we need to fix, but guess what? We have another home game coming up in the divisional round, and who will they face? Either the Steelers or Texans. Both winnable matchups, in my opinion. I gotta be honest. And this, I don't know. A lot of people were saying, including us to an extent, but not as heavily criticized because we both had the Pats winning this game in our predictions. But the Patriots, they've only beaten one team above 500. I mean, look, bro, in the playoffs, anything can happen. Look, are you happy now they beat a team that was 11-6? Yes, their O-line, the Chargers O-line are full of like plumbers and electricians, but guess what?
Yes, that was also brutal. Herbert was definitely
wrecked.
He was getting wrecked a lot, but you know what? Tip of the hat to the Patriots front line.
That was great.
Front line. Their front seven was phenomenal, and they were pressuring the quarterback right up the middle too. I don't know if you were watching it. They were just penetrating the center with ease, and kudos to them. That was the game plan. Rush the quarterback, put pressure on Herbert, and that's why Herbert didn't look good at all, and that's why they only put up 3 points, which to me is still inexcusable.
It's inexcusable.
And I think this is just more of a Charger issue than it was. The Patriots being good. Like I said, I don't want to take anything away from them, but they've consistently sucked in big games, and it's kind of getting to be that they're just like a one-trick pony at this point. They're really good on defense, and they're underwhelming on offense.
Yeah, it's kind of like, if we give a baseball scenario, I just thought of this one in my head real quick. They're kind of like the Minnesota Twins. Like, they have a good regular season. They get in the playoffs. You know what's going to happen. Let's not be funny. Like, you know what I mean? That's kind of like their
that's a good point.
That's kind of like their era right now they got going on. And now specifically, look, I'll show you guys this. There's conversations, true or false. Justin Herbert is the most overrated quarterback in the NFL. And guess what? If I look at this right now, what would I say? Is he the wrong angle. Is he the most overrated quarterback in the NFL? I don't know. But guess what? He's putting his names up there. I'll be honest. Like,
I wouldn't say most overrated, but he's gonna be he's definitely in the conversation for at least overrated. Well, he's 100%. He's 100% in that conversation.
This is why I would say, look, if you tell me he's most overrated, I ain't gonna front you on it. Like, you got it, low key. Because let me think about it like this: those 3 playoff losses. Let's see how bad they were. The loss to the Jags, that absolute choke job. The second one, 4 interceptions against the Texans. I'm not saying they didn't have a good defense. They did, but not as good as they have it right now. And then 3 points. I mean, the one right now, 3 points. Like, come on, bro. This guy, every time he gets into the playoffs, all he does is choke on a Frank. That's all he's doing, bro. And like,
you're right. And it's crazy because he's a pretty decent regular season quarterback. I mean, they went 11-6. They were a really formidable team this year, and their defense looked like they took a step up. And they were playing really, really well. And you just hope that Herbert could navigate a better game.
You know what? Let me just say one thing
against
real
quick. This Patriots defense. It just didn't work.
Let me just say one thing real quick. They were saying things in the before the game started on NBC. They were like, Herbert hasn't found the success in the playoffs yet. But you know who took a little bit of find success in the playoffs? Peyton Manning. Don't ever compare Justin Herbert to Peyton Manning ever again in your fucking life. God. People that are doing that. That was horrible. Don't ever horrible. Make that comparison again, bro. I don't know who said that on NBC. I need to fact check it, but somebody
he hasn't won a playoff game yet in 4 years. I mean, what are we really comparing anything to? I mean, At this point, he's being viewed as one of the most overrated quarterbacks in the NFL. How could we even put him in the same breath as Peyton Manning? I mean, that's absurd. That's absurd.
And people say Justin Herbert is in the conversation for top 5 quarterback. Cancel that.
No, he's not. He has the talent. He's got the talent.
There you go.
He's not utilizing that talent right now. And maybe it's coaching, but it's definitely some decision making that he's doing as well on his own.
But you know what? I genuinely don't think it's coaching because first you have Brandon Staley, then Harbaugh and him. You know, they have 2 seasons where they look way better in the regular season. All of a sudden in the playoffs, they look like shit.
But they go back. Yeah, they it's a complete 180 of an offense. I'll never understand how they operate.
Mike Vrabel. I was just gonna say shout out Mike Vrabel. Great win for him.
Great win. Great win. They go to the second round. I mean, they look like they're a year or 2 ahead of the schedule. They probably a lot of people in the league probably thought that they would maybe be competitive in 2027 or 2028. That it would take a couple of years, but they're ahead of schedule. This team, and it's just really amazing how there's certain teams in the AFC East that just can't seem to get it straight. I think maybe we know who I'm talking about.
The Dolphins?
No.
Oh, okay.
The Jets.
Well, both of them.
Yeah, the Dolphins too. Yeah, I guess they can't get out of their own way either. But
yeah, the Jets. I hear you.
Tip of the hat off to Vrabel. He's definitely had a good year this year with this Patriots squad.
You know what they need, though? I will say this, and they'll need to address it in the offseason. I think they do have a little bit of money to spend. Either go get a guy like George Pickens or go trade for A.J. Brown. Like, go get a wide receiver 1. I think it's time. I think
A.J. Brown would be a nice – yeah, that would be a nice pickup for them. That would be a nice pickup. It would be a formidable number 1, and I think it would help Drake May substantially in the pass game, honestly. I think he'd be utilized heavily in New England. That'd be a nice pickup for them.
Absolutely. I think this new era in New England right now is, it's going to take a little bit of time to fully, how do I say, like, I don't think they're going to win the Super Bowl this year, but who knows? Will they be in it? Like, will they play in it? I don't know. But what they're doing right now, it's super fun to see because, like I said, this kid's a young quarterback in the league. He has a lot of talent. He has a lot of composure. I think he did get a little bit nervous, but regardless, when needed the most, he made the big throws, and he was making some big throws out there. So shout out Drake May, shout out the Patriots. Successful wild card weekend. Well, not really for me, but I've kind of moved on from it. Not really. But on Monday, we will be having the Steelers and Texans, which, tomorrow we're going to have Steelers Texans. It's going to be a great game. I mean, I still do believe me and you both have the Texans winning. I do believe that's going to happen. But I don't know. I feel like seeing how this game played out, I just hope we don't have another snooze fest is basically what I'm saying.
I can see it being a low-scoring game, though. I really do. I'm not saying, that both teams maybe can't get into some type of rhythm, but I could definitely see a low-scoring battle. And I think that Texans defense is just going to really give Aaron Rodgers fits, and I think it's going to really affect the run game as well. It's going to force Aaron Rodgers to have to throw a lot more than he probably has to, that he wants to. So we'll see how that plays out. But I'm really interested to see how C.J. Stroud's going to come out in this game and perform, and how they do in the pass game. I want to see if they really let loose with him and they try to get him downfield, get some long plays to Nico Collins, and we'll see how they do in the run game. But I'm really considering, I'm really interested to see how they map out this offensive plan against the Steelers defense.
Absolutely. It's going to be a fun, and we'll be live, or not live. We'll be here after the game making a reaction video talking about what went down in that game and who is the team that's going to face the Patriots at Gillette Stadium next week. So I think that's going to be super fun to see as well. The bracket, like I said, now we're down to the Rams, the Seahawks, the Niners, the Bears, the Broncos, the Bills, the Pats, and either the Texans or Steelers. We're just going to wait and see. But super fun. We're guaranteed now a new Super Bowl champion, which is always cool to see. Somebody else is going to have the throne. Let me think. Is there going to be anybody like first-timer, I guess? Bills, I guess, is still possible. Bills first-timer.
The Bills have never won, so that they could win. The Texans have never won.
Texans.
Let's
That's
see.
It, right?
Yeah, the Niners have championships. Seattle's got championships. The Rams have one.
Pats,
the
Broncos.
The Broncos and the Pats have. Yeah, so
Steelers have it. Yeah. Just Texans and Bills at this point are the only two teams.
Yep.
All right. it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be super fun. Will Josh Allen finally do it this year, or we'll continue seeing on as it goes down? But our predictions video will be live either Wednesday morning or Thursday morning. Maybe Wednesday morning, I think, is gonna be better. But make sure you guys are subscribing. Thank you guys for the most amazing support in our last video. It did absolutely tremendous. Want to shout you guys out for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for everybody.
I'm pretty sure it had to do a little bit, obviously, with like my mental health deteriorating towards the episode because it was like talking about my Packers losing. But look, regardless, if it's for the love of the game, I'll do it 100% of the time. But regardless, let us know what you guys think about what happened Wild Card Sunday in the comment section. Make sure you guys subscribe to JBM Sports Media. Follow us on TikTok, JBM Sports Media, and IG JBM Sports Media. And we'll catch you guys on the next video. Peace.
Peace, guys.